New Caitlin Clark interview going viral,
Caitlin Clark recently sat down with a Chinese podcaster and shared information that has fans stunned, delivering an interview that went far beyond safe, predictable answers. She revealed unexpected future plans with major implications for her career and the global growth of women's basketball, quickly turning the conversation into an international talking point. Once you hear what she actually said, it's easy to see why the reaction has been so intense, as her comments could reshape how people view her path moving forward. What do you think about Clark's revelations, and do they change how you see her future?
In
China, like people started to notice you when you were in Iowa or either in Indiana Fevers. But when people started to notice you, you already a dominant player, a winner already. But let's go back to the beginning of your basketball journey. Is there any moment you feel like basketball is a little bit challenging for you, or you're born to be a winner, you never feel like that?
That's a great question. Honestly, I feel like there's obviously a lot of challenging moments throughout my career. I feel like I probably always had a lot of natural skill, but I also wanted to get a lot better at it. So I always found ways to challenge myself. So that's probably when I felt the most challenged, is when I would, whether it was a hard workout or a bad game or something like that. I feel like you find ways to challenge yourself within those moments. But I would probably say I always kind of had a natural skill for it and just a knack for basketball, but I also really loved it and wanted to get better at it.
Got you. So mostly you are born to be a winner.
I guess we can say that.
Caitlin Clark recently appeared in a video with a Chinese YouTuber named Tarong, and the interview is compelling for several reasons, starting with the fact that an international content creator, not ESPN or a major US network, secured the conversation, highlighting just how global Clark's reach has become. Tarong isn't a random creator either, as he has connections to major basketball figures and has interviewed names like Kawhi Leonard, Cooper Flag, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which shows he's well connected at the highest levels of the sport. The fact that he sought out Caitlin Clark speaks volumes about her current status and growing influence in basketball worldwide.
人难以想象的压力，成为全世界的女篮门面，到底是一种什么样的感觉？
We talked about the past, we talked about the present, now let's talk about the future. I think you inspired a lot of girls in China, more and more attentions for women's basketball in China right now. A lot of young girls, they attribute their interest to basketball to you.
Cool.
So how you feel about that?
That's pretty cool. And obviously China's not a place I've ever been to, but I know I'll be there very soon. And I think that's super exciting. And I think having that type of reach is something that also has an impact on me. Like, you get to inspire so many different people from different walks of life, but they all love the same thing. They love basketball and they love getting to watch it and become better at it. And that's exactly like kind of what my story was. I always just wanted to be better. I loved watching it. I wanted to put a lot of time into improving my game. So hopefully I'm inspiring a lot of people in China, especially the young boys and girls, to want to really invest a lot of time to be as great as they can be.
In New High's podcast, you mentioned the trip to Italy and Croatia.
Yeah.
I promise the trip to China will be
the best
impressive.
Right.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
that.
looking forward to it.
The comparison to Stephen Curry's 2013 to 2016 impact fits perfectly, when kids everywhere started launching deep threes because they wanted to play like him, and that same influence is now happening with Caitlin Clark as young players copy her style and reshape the culture of the game. The interview became even more intriguing when the conversation turned to the future, as the host noted that Clark has inspired many girls in China and increased interest in women's basketball there, where a strong new generation of talent is emerging. Clark then made a statement that caught everyone's attention, saying she's never been to China but knows she'll be there very soon, a comment that sounded planned rather than casual and sparked speculation about an upcoming promotional tour, basketball camps, or a Nike-led initiative. She added that having such global reach impacts her personally, because it allows her to inspire people from different backgrounds who all share a love for basketball and improving their game, reinforcing just how global her influence has already become. This shows that Clark understands her influence reaches far beyond the United States and that she's thinking globally about her impact, which is exactly what you'd expect from a player becoming a transcendent figure in the sport. She isn't satisfied with being just the face of the WNBA at home. She's positioning herself as a global ambassador for women's basketball. There's also an interesting footnote about her basketball fandom. Clark has said her favorite male player is Jeremy Lin, and her old tweets from around 2014 to 2016 show her openly admiring him, which feels especially fitting given that this interview centered on her growing influence in China, where Lin became a cultural phenomenon. In many ways, Clark now appears to be following a similar path of international reach, and the discussion around the interview also highlighted how her rapid rise is reshaping the WNBA landscape and affecting how other stars in the league are viewed.
球与之前的高中以及 NCAA 有什么不同？
You've been in WNBA for 2 years, Rookie of the Year, the captain of the All-Star team, and so how would you describe the past 2 years?
Man, I think they've first of all gone like really fast. I think I've had a lot of like pinch me moments because like this is the stage I always wanted to be on, and then getting to do it in front of like sold out crowds every single night, whether you're at home or you're on the road, I think is really incredible and probably than most places. So I think that's really special. And yeah, I think there's a lot of many exciting years ahead.
One of the most striking moments in the interview came when the host referred to Caitlin Clark as a miracle for the NCAA, the WNBA, and the future of women's basketball, and while it may sound like standard praise, there's real truth behind it. For the first time, young boys who could choose any NBA star are naming a WNBA player as their hero, something that simply didn't happen in previous generations, even for legendary players like Diana Taurasi. That shift represents more than growth. It signals a fundamental change in how women's basketball is viewed, where skill and impact matter more than gender. As the analysis of the interview pointed out, great basketball is great basketball, whether it's played in the NBA, WNBA, or anywhere else, and Clark is being celebrated not as a great female player, but as a great player, period. Players like Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hall have gained greater recognition because more fans began watching the WNBA to see Caitlin Clark play and then discovered the league's depth of talent. Even Kennedy Carter received increased attention after her viral hip check on Clark, which led many viewers to watch her more closely and recognize her as an elite defender. That's how star power works. One player draws the audience, and the league benefits when fans stay for the quality of basketball. The frustration mentioned in the analysis is understandable, especially with some WNBA media voices downplaying Clark's impact, and the defensive discussion is fair as well. Very few players have truly slowed Clark through smart schemes and positioning rather than excessive physical contact, and as seen with Connecticut's approach, allowing constant hacking isn't real defense. The list of teams that have genuinely contained her through legitimate strategy is much shorter than critics often suggest. The Las Vegas Aces have reportedly had some success defending Clark without resorting to excessive physical contact, but the fact that so few teams can contain her legally only underscores how difficult she is to guard. Her popularity isn't just about her personality or story, it's rooted in exceptional basketball skill. The point about WNBA tickets being more affordable than NBA games is also significant. Families can take their kids to see Clark live for a fraction of the cost, exposing a new generation to women's basketball at formative ages. Those young fans are likely to grow up with WNBA players as their heroes, reshaping how women's sports are perceived. Clark's comments about inspiring girls in China and planning a visit there show that she recognizes her influence and is actively thinking about expanding the game internationally. China represents a massive market for basketball, and while the NBA has spent decades building a fanbase there, the WNBA has yet to fully establish itself. If it does, the opportunities for growth, sponsorships, and media deals are enormous, and Caitlin Clark is poised to be the face of that expansion. The comparison to Stephen Curry is apt. Curry transformed the game at every level, influencing how kids shoot, how teams space the floor, and what modern offense looks like. Clark has the potential to create a similar shift for women's basketball, not just in playing style, but in how the sport is marketed, consumed, and valued worldwide. What makes this Chinese podcast interview significant isn't only what Clark said, but the fact that it happened at all. A content creator with major basketball connections sought her out, and the conversation centered on her global impact and plans to visit China. This marks the start of Clark's rise as an international sports icon, extending her influence far beyond American basketball, The fact that young boys are now choosing Caitlin Clark as their basketball hero marks a cultural shift that can't be overstated. For generations, female athletes were respected but rarely emulated by male fans, and that barrier is breaking down, with Clark leading the way. When boys and girls alike see a female athlete as someone to aspire to, it signals progress that extends beyond sports into broader cultural attitudes. Clark's awareness of her reach shows maturity beyond her years. She talks about inspiring people from all walks of life who share a love of basketball, showing she understands she's part of something bigger than herself. She isn't just playing for stats or championships. She's playing for everyone who sees themselves in her story or finds inspiration in her game. Her plans to visit China soon are significant, reflecting a strategic effort to build her global brand through partnerships, appearances, and international outreach. Caitlin Clark is being positioned not only as the face of the WNBA, but as a global ambassador for women's basketball. Her influence is already inspiring young players across cultures, and her upcoming trip suggests this is just the beginning of her international presence.